Okay, it's gonna start recording. Thank you for reminding me. so, um, so yeah, so the relation about the emotions. So there's like different parts for emotion to become, to create. So we need the subject, so the consciousness that we look at it. Again, like I say, I could call it mind, spirit, or consciousness. It's exactly the same thing. So there's a subject that will look at it at a thing. Then there's like a faculty that will help me to perceive the object that I'm watching at. So there's three things that we need for an emotion to be created. I need a subject, we need a mind to look at something, we need the object to look at, and then we need the faculty. And the faculty, it's a very subtle way. It's not the organ or the things that allows us to perceive things, external things. We said in Buddhism, we have 6 consciousness. We don't have only one. So we're very powerful. 6 consciousness. 5 consciousness will belong to the 5 senses. So we have visual consciousness, olfactive consciousness, auditive consciousness, gustative, and tactile consciousness. Each consciousness will have different perception of the object that will allows us to experience something. And then after the way we perceive those things, then the emotion is gonna become. And the 6th consciousness is even the more subtle one, which is the mental consciousness. But it's part also, like we have 6. When we talk about consciousness, even if we talk in a singular way, always think that we're talking about the 6. If I haven't seen the person that I do like with my visual consciousness, there won't be any emotion. And then if I close my eyes and I remember that person that I like, then my mental consciousness remembers what the visual consciousness brought, and then it's able to recall with happiness that person that I'm trying to remember. So all of them, they work together. Sometimes I'm gonna have only auditive consciousness if it's a sound. So it depends on the type of object that I'm perceiving, that is how I'm gonna look at it. So what kind of emotions we have? We have many kinds of emotions, but we try to like categorize them in different ways. So one way we say we have positive, negative, and neutral or variant emotion. Yeah, when I say neutral, it's harder to get, so it's more variable kinds of emotions. So positive, I think everybody knows, and we can recall them easily: love, kindness, generosity, intelligence, attention. Also, for us, those are emotions because they come, but attention could come and attention could go also away. So for us, our mental factors. So not only the emotions that we usually talk in the regular basis in the West, where we say only emotions, like love, this is this. No, we also have intelligence. We have also discrimination as a mental factor. We have attention, like I said, we have inspiration, aspiration, or we have intention. So we have different kind of mental factors. Those could be positive. We have negative. So those are easier for us to understand. And for those who follows more advanced courses, we always talk about 6 mental perturbations and 20 mental perturbations that are secondary. So in general, we categorize them in 26. Obviously, in the West, we have like even dictionaries of emotions. We have a long list of emotions, but we try to group them in 26. So already there are a lot of options that the mind choose to realize. So why for us it's important to talk negative and positive? Because what we would like to do at the end of the life, or what are we searching in terms of daily things in our life? We're trying to search for happiness. But if I sit down and I try for happiness to come, it won't come. Hopefully, I wish it could happen that way, but happiness, it doesn't come. The only way to come is to be able to understand a little bit better our mind and those emotions that come. So if I'm able for the beginning to find this happening. For the first step that I could do is to be able to observe what kind of mental factors or what kind of emotions they come in my mind. Then at least I'm going to be more knowledgeable of the reactions that I have. Why do I react? For example, I love ice cream, okay? Love, love, love. So if I see ice cream, if I see it, and you have no idea, I have a very crazy story with Jason. We were in a retreat and I was eating my soup. Jason, he already finished his food. Yeah, he opened the fridge to get for the ice cream pot. And I knew it was not too many, like not to share with many. So I say, if he's able to eat it all. So I stopped eating my soup and I went right away with a plate because I want him to share me the rest of the ice cream. I didn't want him to eat everything. So my perception of the object, the subject, my consciousness, my gustative consciousness with my mental consciousness that recall this ice cream, that it's wonderful for me. Why? I was the only one getting up to search for the ice cream. Because for me, ice cream, it represents something pleasant, right? Something agreeable, something positive. But why not the other ones in the retreat? We were many. Why the other ones didn't get up and went to fight for the ice cream? Because the object by its nature is not as positive as I perceive it. It's only me that I perceive it like that. So what I'm trying to, and then I went to eat ice cream just to finish with this story. So I realized how one mental factor that we call desire attachment, that it's one of the 6 mental perturbations, the root mental perturbations, is very strong on me towards ice cream. That made me to be very not polite for 2 things, because I was talking to a friend. So I really stopped talking to her. I didn't even listen. I think she kept talking and then I just got up. So one, I stopped talking with my friend, and then the other one, I didn't give Jason the opportunity to finish all his ice cream. So, so very bad. Everything because related of this emotion that it was created from the subject towards the object with the faculty or the consciousness that allow me to know that. So my perception of ice cream is happiness. It's my pleasant moment, right? But not for everyone. So very interesting to understand with this analogy of my personal life that the way we perceive objects, it will depend. And objects, when I say objects, I want you to understand that it's not only food, ice cream, like I said. Object could be a person, object could be a situation, object could be the weather, for example, that could be the object, or a thought also, expectation. All those things are objects. Everything that is perceived by this subject, it is an object. Everything that we can be able to see, or not always to see, but to know that exists. So everything that is existing in a way is a subject, an object, sorry. And these objects, we call them phenomena, compounding phenomena. These compounding phenomena, we see them all the time, very autonomous, very independent, and very permanent. Well, I didn't see the ice cream very permanent because I knew he was going to finish it, but I see it so, so strong in my mind that I went around to see it. Although that's our perception of the phenomena, but the real perception of the phenomena or the object, everything is interdependent and everything is impermanent. So everything is due to constant changes all the time. And it exists because one, my perception, the way I look at it, that's the interdependency. That's why ice cream, not for everyone, is the best thing in the world. It's only for a few people, or many, but not all of them, like the donuts that you brought. So the same thing. I guess I ate half of it on the box. So it's very interesting to see how we perceive it. So that's the interdependency of how the object could exist, but also the interdependency, it means the whole, everything that make that object to exist. So that object doesn't exist in a very solid way. Actually, it's made of many ways that it was made. Although for our vision, they exist in a very solid way. So that's why our perception towards these phenomena or these objects, they come depending on the way we have learned to see them. So why I love ice cream? Because every time my father got mad at me, I cried so much when I was little. And then he felt bad that I cried. So he always gave me what? An ice cream. So my perception of ice cream was always positive, right? So if for example, it will be the other way around, every time he punished me, he was giving me an ice cream, maybe I wouldn't like ice cream, right? So it depends. So emotions are gonna be raised or they're gonna be created because the way we perceive the objects or the phenomena that is gonna make us feel something. So we have this sensation that is one of the mental factors that allows us to have this sensation of or feeling of happy or unhappy, or, you know, we don't care neither, or we're in the equanimity, we call them, or neutral state. So so the negative emotions and positive emotions are created, one by this feeling or sensation, but also they are created by discrimination. That's another mental factor that allows us to perceive or understand the object. I discriminate. So I could discriminate a color. For example, I could see the cup and I see it's red, but then the discrimination is going to allow me to say, this is, oh, I don't know if you guys see it. This is red and it is the cup. So I'm discriminating that among all the red color is the red cup. So that's another mental factor that allows me to perceive an object. Another thing that will help me to perceive an object is the contact. So any of my consciousness will be in contact with the phenomena. If I don't see the red cup, it's not existent for the moment. Even I know there's many red cups, but if I don't perceive it, my consciousness doesn't know it or see it, so then it's not existent. For example, sometimes we remember somebody, and when we remember the person, if, for example, the person died and we love them so much, then what kind of sensation comes? A very unhappy, sometimes sad, because we miss the person. But really, the person is not existing. We just create it in our memory or in our mental consciousness, but it's not existing. So as long as it exists in our any kind of consciousness, we can still develop all those emotions because of the contact that we have towards that phenomena. So then, yeah, we have contact. So all these kind of mental factors that allows us to perceive the objects, those are the one that is gonna make us to have any kind of feeling or emotion that we can develop. And afterwards, we're gonna be developing either love or either aversion to things. We're gonna be developing either kindness towards something that is just fell down. So I just gonna be very generous and kind. I'm gonna try to lift it up, or I'm gonna develop anger. So I'm gonna make the person to fall down. So it depends what kind of emotions I'm be having. So the actions are gonna be changing depending on that. So if we search, like I was saying at the beginning, if we search to find happiness, it's important to observe how we start to perceive the things and to check, is it the real nature of the object that I'm perceiving with that kind of perception that is very subtle sometimes, that makes me feel happy or makes me feel unhappy. So like I was saying, going back to my example of the ice cream. So I see the object that is so happy, but once I found out, you know, my action toward that crazy happiness, right? It's not actually happiness that I have for ice cream. It's more like an attachment, desire of attachment. And we say desire of attachment, like I repeat, I said it before, I just recall it. It's one of the 6 mental perturbations, one of the strongest one that we have. And it makes us do actions in a very negative way. So when I was able to observe my mind, and I observed myself how I was getting up, going for my ice cream. I say, what am I doing? This is crazy. This is not logical. I'm not a little kid. I can't hold myself on those things, but it was stronger. So that was very not so subtle. I was able to observe it, but desire attachment is very, very subtle. Sometimes we don't see it clearly, and makes us do actions that could be not as positive as we think, even though it seems positive, but it's not as positive as things. Everything is due to our own desire, attachment, or aversion that we can produce many things. So if I'm searching this happiness, I have to watch this kind of emotions, any kind of emotion. Don't be angry at yourself of feeling some kind of emotion that you're less happy to feel, like, oh, sometimes I feel guilty because I felt angry the whole day with somebody. Don't feel guilty. Observe, just curious and find this happiness of being curious of your mind. Because if you really wish to search happiness, the only way is to be able to search where the unhappiness comes from. Otherwise, how am I going to change? Like I say, I cannot find happiness yet. I'm just sitting down and hoping, happiness. It won't work at all. It really doesn't work. We have to move. We have to make some kind of movement that will help us to find that happiness. So what movement at the first is to observe our spirit. Have fun with it. Really enjoy it. Don't be angry of your, we said many of our unhappiness comes from negative emotions, obviously, right? Because the negative emotions makes us suffer, even though I could say I am right. I have the right to be I don't know in Toronto, but in Montreal, they will say, because I live in Montreal, so everybody told me, you have the right to be angry sometimes. I was like, do I have the right? I question myself, do I have to, that's social influence, right? It doesn't mean that you don't have the right, or you do have the right. But if anger makes you unhappy, so why we choose it, we're not logical, right? I search happiness, but I have the right to be angry. So you just try to realize that. So, but I'm gonna be still angry, right? Because I still have these emotions, negative emotions, because of my own perceptions of the nature of the phenomena. So again, with the ice cream, the nature of the phenomena of the ice cream is just something very, very sweet. And it's not even good for the health too much, right? So if I really look at it in the real nature, it's not either bad or good. It's just food, but the way I perceive it. So observe how we perceive phenomena, how we perceive the object, and try to think of that object always makes me very angry, very upset. Then the object is not the fault of the object. It's not the fault of the person. It's not, oh, you make me angry all the time. We're very good at to take outside the faults, but we don't take any responsibility of it. I am seeing this negative or positive. It's my perception. It's the subject that is watching the thing. And so we don't see the real perception of the phenomena. So seeing the real perception of the phenomena, it's like after. We're going to be watching that after. But first, observe the mind. Oh, every time I see this, every time I see the snow when the spring was coming, right? It happened in Toronto, I guess. You had snow also? Yeah, okay. So you were expecting spring, snow. Why? People, I get very happy, but I know many, they didn't get happy. Because why I was happy? And why not everybody, they were happy as I was? Because of the way we perceive snow, the way we were attached to spring, aversion to something, attachment to other things. So as soon as I get attached to something, I'm just gonna, I have time to talk about these three mental, we call them like poison. There are many, there's 6 mental perturbations, 20 secondary negative, but then main ones that makes us suffer the most there are 3 only. So it's simple, right? If we get rid of these 3, we're winners. So first, desire of attachment. Second one, aversion. And the third one, ignorance. But I like to call it more like Ignorance is like a misunderstanding of reality. At the end, this ignorance, if we're able to finish, to cut it, then the mind will become all knowledgeable as a Buddha mind. He knows everything. That Buddha mind knows everything. There's no misconception of things. Why do we have misconception? Because like I was saying, social factors, family, education, the country, values, everything interdependent makes my perception in one way or the other way. So, so if we are able to cut this misunderstanding of reality, will be the key to be able to get rid of all this suffering. But it's a deep level. First two levels, which we desire, attachment, and aversion, they are correlated. The one exists and the other one exists because of the other one is existent. They're nice friends. So as long as I have desire, attachment, aversion will exist automatically. Why? Because desire, attachment in Buddhism, I know in West, attachment is good by itself. Desire, it's good by itself. You know, I desire or I wish to win the lottery. It's very good. You know, it's a good way. Keep wishing. No, I'm just kidding. But it's a good wish. But both of them together, desire, attachment, what it makes, it's the subject will look at the object in the very wonderful and with all the qualities not even existent in that thing. So ice cream has no faults for me, you know, has all the qualities, but it's my perception. It's an attachment to this ice cream that I have. When you fell in love for the first time with a person, you see that person is the most wonderful person with all the qualities. So after 20 years of marriage, you are not that person that I married. What happened? Well, no, because you made that up. You made that person up. It was not real, the person. It was your own creation of what you were looking, and then you put it so big that you became attached to the person. You were not able to see the whole nature of the person. And the whole nature of the person, it's not either good or bad. It's just simple, the whole mental factors on and off. So the person is not always angry, or the person is not always kind. So you were always kind with me, but today you were angry. So I don't love you anymore. So that's the things that happen because I was attached to all the qualities that might be existent and adding up more things because I create a mountain of perfection. And then once I have this kind of attachment, we say it's like a oil that enters into a tissue, and it's hard to take it out. As soon as the oil enters to a cloth, then you wash it. It's very difficult, right? At the end, it's almost impossible. So the same thing we say, as soon as you create a great desire, attachment for something, any kind of phenomena, any kind of object, boom, you're gonna have a lot of sufferings. Why? Because that thing, that phenomena that you watch is impermanent, so continuously changing. You know, I love dresses. I didn't bring my dresses today, but I love dresses. so if I have a dress, you know, I so love it. But then somebody breaks it. I got attached to my dress. Somebody breaks it. Great. What happened if I was attached to my dress? What happens if it's broken? Aversion comes. So that's why I say aversion and desire attachment, they go together, because as soon as I get attached to something, then when that thing changes in any way, great suffering. Aversion, aversion is pretty much the non-acceptance of things that I could get. So when we observe our mind, like I was inviting you, and then you check the emotions that come like a wind, then you observe if it's positive, we can keep it, but we know it's temporary, because at one moment that positive emotion will go away. It's not forever that will stay all the time until we attain a Buddha state that we call it, you know, the ultimate happiness, which we don't know that yet because it's not really a sensation or an emotion. It's pretty much an understanding. Like I say, he cut the ignorance or the misunderstanding of phenomena, at that moment that changes. Instead, all the time say permanent, we say. But for now, our temporary happiness, take it as temporary. We enjoy them, we find contentment with it, but we know they're gonna go, and it's okay. So don't get attached to those happy moments. And then, yeah, I have to watch my time because I talk too much about emotions. I love that subject. So then aversion or any kind of negative emotion also, like I said, also the happy emotions and the negative emotions, they are permanent. They are impermanent, sorry, impermanent. They are temporary. So don't get too attached to those emotions. So yeah, I observe my mind. My mind will still be angry because I haven't worked all the process in the philosophy that will teach us how to tame this mind and to be able to understand phenomena better. But it's a long-term process. It's not something that it's going to happen tomorrow. It's maybe this life, maybe the next life. We don't know. It depends on your mind. But you all have the potential. We say every single being have the same light, clear nature of Buddha's mind. We all have it. We just put a lot of layers of contaminated layers of misunderstanding of reality. But otherwise, just clean it, polish it. That's what we were doing, the cleaning up at the beginning, to be able to polish it a little bit and to see the shyness of it, the clear light that we talk about. So observe either positive, negative. Don't get attached to them. And the, a very like a nice, fast advice maybe, or tip from the philosophy, it's that don't hold on it. Don't keep it too long. Just don't force yourself also to get rid of it, because pushing them, it's not helping. Understanding will be helping, more helpful. So understand, I'm angry because of my understanding of perception of the phenomena. It's not because that person makes me angry, it's my misunderstanding. Anything is our misunderstanding. And then afterwards, having that acceptance, I observe, I watch, and then I just, okay, the same way it came, the same way the wind, the effervescent wind came, then the same way it's gonna just go away. I'm just gonna let it go. I'm not gonna get too stuck with it. Otherwise, I keep too much anger. It's like meditating, but in a negative way, because I meditate on anger, and then it's gonna become more predominant in my mind. So then when we advance in time, the more I keep it, the angrier I'm gonna get. Sometimes we say, the older I get, the more angry I get about anything so easily. Why? Because we worked so hard to keep the anger on and on and on. We didn't let it go. Just the same way it came, just let it go. But for now, we start by observing this mind of us. Have fun with it. Observe it and try to understand that when it's too negative, it's because I didn't understand clearly. And then slowly, you're gonna start getting this part of understanding this mind of you, why you perceive it like that. And then after, you're gonna change the whole perspective of the way you see things. And then now I don't eat any more ice cream, for real. Just to tell you the end of this story. I do eat it sometimes. I ate it. There's a very good place in Toronto for that, but because somebody took me, but it's not because I have this attachment anymore. I don't. So, but because I had to understand first. But the only way to understand is to observe my mind. And to make little mistakes, right? Back and forth. We can excuse ourselves if we make mistakes. It's very important to recognize it towards the others. But then afterwards, it's important to just observe it. That's, like I said, the first level and the most important. It takes longer time. So since it's a workshop and it's not a class, so I don't have time for questions. But in summer, I am going to be giving on the weekends. We just decided a little time before that I might be giving the class of emotions. So we have more information and we go deeper, trying to see what else we can discover about that. So I'm gonna give it on weekends. So thank you so much. We always finish with a little dedication. Dedication, it's very important for us because every little light, positive light that you had in your mind, you don't keep it. Don't be so greedy. So dedication, we share it also to those who haven't found that little light that you were able to find, you know, that little clearness that you had. And obviously maybe it's tangible talking, it won't do nothing. But if your mind is more peaceful, automatically the people around you will be the same nature, more peaceful. So we do this dedication. So I'm just gonna do a little chanting in Tibetan again. Sorry for, no, I'm gonna do it in English. Yeah, that's what I brought the English book because I don't know it by heart in English. So I'm gonna do it in English, and then after I do in Tibetan. May the precious mind of enlightenment awaken in those in whom it is still dormant, never diminish in those in whom it is already present, and may it flourish forever. Chanchu senchu rinpoche, ma kye panan kye joshi, kye pa nyampa me pa yang, kone kontu pegwa shu. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It was very nice to meet you all. Thank you for those over there. If I couldn't see your conversation, I'm really sorry, but thank you so much for being there. And hopefully I see you soon in the summer for those who are interested about emotions. So thank you so much. Thank you. Bye-bye, everybody in Zoom. See you tomorrow. Bye, Alexandra. Yeah, bye, people. Oh, many students. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye. Okay, I'm gonna start registration. So thank you so much, everyone here.